Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and another live update with some breaking news. It's been a very long day of reporting. I still haven't slept since last night, since 2 days ago. And of course, earlier on we had an issue when we were trying to get into Nigel Farage's victory party, and the venue made some issues because of security problems, and my press pass didn't happen. It didn't help. Sky News were also stuck outside, some of them, and GB News as well. So even if you had a press pass, you couldn't get in. That was a big problem. But we now have some good news for the supporters of Reform UK. Obviously, until a few minutes ago, Reform UK was celebrating that they had 4 new MPs in Parliament: Richard Tice, Rupert Lowe, Nigel Farage and Lee Anderson. We can now confirm that over the last few minutes, Reform UK have gained yet another new MP, James McMurdoch from South Basildon and East Thurrock. This was a shock result. It was a surprise announcement. In fact, James didn't really have a proper campaign team. He didn't even have an agent. He went to the election count last night until now, because they had to do a number of recounts because the Labour Party kicked off. He took his parents, his mum and dad, to the counts because he didn't have enough support. Of course, there was not enough manpower on the ground. This is the result that we have. Reform UK 30.8%, Labour 30.5%. It's extremely close, and late that was the Tory party 25.7. The Tories are gone. A majority of 98. 98. A population of a busy local pub on a Friday managed to essentially elect James as their new MP. He received 12,178 votes, and the Labour Party Jack Ferguson received 12,080 votes. And then Stephen, obviously from the Tory party, at 10,159. Now, this is obviously great news for Reform UK. Now they can create a new chant, 5 more seats. 5 more seats. The Tories used to chant 5 more years, but Reform could chant 5 more seats. Now, we have a couple of videos for you guys. This was the moment a few minutes ago. Nigel Farage, standing outside a pub with his team and his supporters, he received a phone call from James confirming that he has won his seat in a very surprised situation. Even Nigel was shocked about this. Let's quickly go to the first video we have where Nigel is talking to James on the phone.
Epic. Well, all I can tell you now, as an elected politician, is your life is ruined completely. Congratulations. And look, what we'll do, you just calm down for a bit. What we'll do, I'll get Dan to ring you. I'll be with you at 10 a.m. in whichever you think is the best, busiest thoroughfare. We'll tell all the media, and we'll go for a walkabout, and we'll have a lot of fun. All right? Well done, mate. Thanks.
James, you're a star. Thank you. I think you're popular around here.
So, the 4 musketeers have turned into the famous 5. 5 members of Parliament for Reform UK. And now we can officially confirm, ladies and gentlemen, the best news of the night. Now that they've received their 5 seats, we can now confirm that they have officially beaten the Green Party. That's a good start, isn't it? The Green Party that only received 6.8% of the vote. Reform UK received 14.3% of the vote. Finally, they actually have done better than the Greens in general. Now, one of the issues that we have to deal with is, of course, all these new MPs for Reform UK. They have to find a way to find new staff, new teams, parliamentary researchers. Like Green Party, obviously, they are also new, but they're not a new party. They have 4 MPs. they were neck and neck with obviously Reform. Now Reform has 5, but the Green Party has the infrastructure and a lot of funding from big money, big corporations, net zero, pro-net zero corporations. So they're going to find easily stuff, but Reform, you have to go through the grassroots. Nigel Farage, following that phone call, also made another video, and he posted that. Let's go to Nigel.
Our candidate, James McMurdoch, was a paper candidate, drafted in at the last minute, former city boy, and he was absolutely neck and neck with Labour in the seat. So I rang him up earlier. I said, look, give me the name of your agent so that I can find out what's happening, because they were on the 3rd recount. He said, I haven't got an agent, I'm my own agent. I said, well, who's in the hall watching the vote counting? He said, my mum and dad, and he's won. He's an MP. Go on, my son.
His mum and dad. That's so funny. The whole thing is funny. Without any proper resources or anything, they've managed to become the 3rd largest party in the country. And of course, in terms of the parliamentary seats, they got 5, which is quite impressive. And I'm glad that they got 5. Because you don't want them to get more than that, because it won't be easy to expose the flaws of the first past the post system. That's the whole point of it. I'll explain in a minute. Now, we also had earlier on, obviously, the event, the press conference that Nigel organised with the other 4 candidates, 4 MPs, before James obviously won his seat. They thought that they only got 4 MPs, so they organised the whole thing. And obviously we were stuck outside, despite our press passes, with the other journalists. But inside the building, we had the political left infiltrating the venue and heckling and everything else. That's why the security went crazy afterwards, because they were like, well, we don't know who's whom anymore. So let's quickly go and see what happened inside the room.
Where are you from? Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah. Are you downwind of a couple already? You've had a bigger lunch than I've had. God, he must be screaming. He's absolutely steaming, isn't he? That's all right. There's still plenty of beer left in the pub, mate. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye. Lots of love. Lots of love. As I was saying, on the 3rd of June, I decided that I would not. Boring. 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 Well, this is good preparation for the House of Commons, I suppose, isn't it? Very good preparation. It's going to be very lively in there, isn't it? Oh, do buck up, really, please, love. I'm so sorry. Well, I'm enjoying this. Bye, darling. Have a lovely day. Lots of love. Any more for any more?
Actually, yes.
I mean, we haven't organised this very well, have we? You're very angry. Oh dear. Listen, mate, you'll have a stroke.
I love it. Oh no, hang on guys, give me a second. Oh shit. We're having problems, hang on. We have no screen. The whole thing is falling apart. I'm coming back, don't worry. Let's quickly go to the next video. This is from Richard Tice, obviously announcing his victory.
Hi everyone, I just want to say a massive thank you to all of you who voted for me to make me your new Member of Parliament for the constituency of Boston and Skegness. It is a huge privilege, a great honour, and I promise you, I will not let you down. I will work hard, I will strive hard in order to look after everybody, whether you voted for me or not, and to promote Boston and Skegness, not only at a local level, but on a national level, and helping everyone, helping attract investment, helping sort out the issues that everyone has raised with me as I've enjoyed speaking to people on the doors and also campaigning throughout this campaign. I'm getting stuck in, I'm looking forward to it. Please keep me informed with all issues, and together, let's make Boston and Skegness great again. Thanks.
Right, so I'm back. That previous video from Nigel, he was so sound that the whole live stream broke for a second. It was funny because at the end, Nigel said, anyone else? Anyone else? And someone said, yes, actually. Why did he have to say that? Just caused more trouble for himself. Obviously, the guy was always going to be a problem. But it was funny the moment Nigel asked anybody else? Yeah. And also, he used Margaret Thatcher's line, I'm enjoying this. Which was obviously the famous line Maggie used in her last Prime Minister's questions when she was resigning and when the political left and Labour MPs were trolling and heckling her. So, famous 5. Absolutely incredible result for Reform UK. Let's see what you guys are saying. His mum and dad, this is about the new MP. James must be so proud. Jack says, appalling behaviour in Westminster today by those lefties. Yeah, I'm not really surprised anymore. Tamsin says, this is absolutely brilliant. Are you having another shot, Maya? I am. I can't. Not after last night. Can't do any more shots. Not anymore. Such a shame that Reform got the 3rd highest popular vote in the country and only got 5 seats. No, it's a good thing. Think about it. If they had gotten more seats, they would have no influence. They would have no justification to talk about electoral reform. But this is actually a beautiful result. Over 4 million votes and only 5 seats. Now the campaign starts today, which obviously will start by talking about how the whole system is unfair and Reform is the 3rd party in the country. But at the same time, not enough seats in the House of Commons. It's a disconnect between Parliament and the populace. So now they can use this with evidence to go to the establishment and say, let's have a conversation. Let's sort this out once and for all. And we have the mandate from the people. So we'll talk about all that. But also, it's now 13 minutes past 6 p.m. in the UK, which means 13 minutes ago, Keir Starmer has finished work. Because it's 6 p.m. on a Friday. Seriously. He's the Prime Minister of the country. He's stopped working. He's gone home. Because apparently his wife is Jewish. You're the Prime Minister. Imagine if Benjamin Netanyahu is like, well, it's Saturday. We can't really do anything anymore, guys. The Hamas side are invading. But it's okay. We'll get back to them on Monday, okay? Yeah. What a weirdo. Grumpy old sod in a cellar says, brilliant, I'm truly delighted for them. Let's go to some of the super chats. Alison says, woohoo, 5 seats, well done, Reform UK. And PC says, Maya, are you happy Galloway is out? I'm guessing PC didn't watch the live stream last night. And my reaction when George Galloway lost, I almost took out my shirt. Yeah, I took a shot. Let's just say, very pleased. He's going to come back somehow. He's going to find the by-election, get back in. It's like a leech. Nick says, is someone pretending to be you on the Telegram? I'm not on Telegram. Yes, it's someone fake. Why would I be on Telegram? I don't do Telegram. I got the most transparent and open platforms on X, best platform, and obviously on YouTube as well. I don't need to be on different random apps. They're usually Telegram and others are for people who are either cancelled or they can't say what they want to say publicly. I can say whatever I want to say publicly. I am uncancelable, ladies and gentlemen. Come at me. Nina says, I wonder how much they got paid by the BBC Channel 4. Keep going, young man. Exactly. And Jackson says, great coverage. You should go the 24/7 Truman Show. I missed the Truman Show. That's a good film. All right. Let's see what else we have. He's literally spending one evening a week with his family. One evening a week with his family? What do you think these people do, the prime ministers? You think it's like a military general or something? They go home every evening. The flat is on top of his office. What do you think Rishi Sunak was doing? He's not a Jew, and he was seeing his family every day. David Cameron was spending literally every evening with his family, unless he was on an international trip. He's literally spending one evening a week with his family. They don't have a 24/7 job in that sense, but they have to be available 24/7 just in case, France invades us. Well, you never know. Macron could go crazy. You always have to be on standby. All right. What do we have? Chris says, if Starmer's wife is Jewish, why hasn't he come out to support the pro-Israel counter-protests in London on Saturdays? The man has no morals at all. Of course he's not going to support the Jews. He will be crucified by the Islamic side. That's why in the manifesto they put the recognizing the Palestinian state as one of the key points. And this is so weird. The whole thing is so weird. Tara says, I'm so bored with the racist card keep being used. Seriously, this is sad or said and accused by the weak. Said and accused by the weak. Yeah, I mean, it's the people who don't really have any arguments to use. That's why they do this. Joseph says, I am having to live under a thoroughly corrupt council, a corrupt police force, and a corrupt MP, all because of electoral fraud. It's a tough situation. Urban Chapster says, brilliant, can't speak anymore. Brilliant coverage. That's how you speak English. I really enjoyed watching this. Thank you for the channel support on this. Thank you so much. Urban Chapster. Martin says, how long before the next general election will be held? In other words, how long before the public lose patience with Labour? It's difficult to predict now, obviously. It's still early days, but it could. There's no medium. It's either going to be a very, very happy government. They're going to find a way to basically shut down all the crazy voices from the far left, which means they can last 5 years, and then it depends what's happening with Reform UK and the Tories in opposition, how they're going to sort it out to beat Labour in 5 years. Or it could be extremely the other way around, which means it's July now. By Christmas, the Labour parties will go down in the opinion polls, but they're still going to cling on power. Just because they've gone down to polls then doesn't mean they're going to call the election. In fact, they're going to not call the election because that's a stupid idea. But if the whole thing goes down completely, the opposition will come from the far left. And you never know. Within a year or so, 2 years, we could have a scandal, crisis in the country, like what happened with Theresa May, snap election, or a leadership challenge against Keir Starmer. That's why there's not going to be any medium. It's either going to be about a year or two, or definitely 5 years. And Labour will most likely lose the election. Unless the Tories and Reform can't get their act together, Labour would be losing the next election. Because there is no way they can fix the imminent threats and the problems that we're having right now. The small boat crisis, the housing crisis. Forget about the NHS and all that stuff, because the Labour Party are very good with propaganda. They're going to find a way to play around with the numbers and say, well, the NHS is fine now. It's working. Everything's fine. Don't ask questions. But there are other problems. Again, housing and, of course, immigration. And it's not just about the small boats. It's about mass migration. And the threat of Islamism is going to go up, which means that mass legal and illegal migration, multiculturalism, is going to be exposed properly under a Labour government more than the Tory government. And that's when the people are going to start speaking. And Keir Starmer is not sexy enough to be popular is not Tony Blair. So the country will just be moaning and moaning and moaning, just like under Rishi Sunak, and waiting for the next election. But it's again down to the opposition parties, Reform, Tories, to find a way. Right now, there was no opposition really to the Tory party. Labour became by default the opposition. They lost votes, but they still won the election. They increased the number of seats, but they lost the actual votes in the country despite the rise in population, because people didn't really want to vote Labour. It just became the default safety net because you didn't want Rishi Sunak anymore. Aaron says, so how long do you have before the World War III? World War III. Yeah, we'll fine from that. Don't worry about that. Or the general election. Yeah, I've explained the general election situation. Joe says, didn't Hitler have a Jewish wife? Are we comparing Starmer to Adolf now? Poor Starmer. And Nick says, I'm so happy Nigel will be my MP once I'm out of hospital. What happened? I've been stuck in a hospital for 11 years. 11 years? Due to the failing system we have just because I'm autistic. Well, that's just, what happened there? Well, I hope that gets sorted. I mean, we now have Wes Streeting as the new health secretary. I wouldn't really have my hopes up with this man, but he says he's going to be radical. He says he's going to fix the NHS. So maybe he could write a letter to Wes Streeting. And actually, if Nigel's going to be your MP, that's going to be a good thing, because you could actually send a letter to Nigel, and he would be raising it in the House of Commons, Nick, if you want to do that. They might be able to help you, because if you have a good local MP, and Nigel will be a good local MP, you will be able to have your voice being heard in the House of Commons. So definitely try that, Nick. Nobody in the US knows who Keir Starmer is. No, I don't think many people in the UK knew until last night. How long until Labour get the ice picks out of... is that supposed to be the hammer, the sickle hammer? I can't really tell. The Labour government are going to be alienating all sides, because they're going to be running as a centrist government. So they're going to be essentially angering the socialist side. They're not going to be liberal enough for the liberals, and they're not conservative. So they're going to be standing in the middle of the road, getting hit by all sides. I just realized Spain has scored against Germany. I'm going to lose my money. Great. All right. Super chat. Labour's vote share increased by only 1% since 2019. It is not their win. It is the Tories who messed everything up. Exactly. But people should understand Islamism is worse than National Socialists. There is no way out. Well, the difference is with the National Socialists, you bring down their leader and the main generals in Germany, and it's gone, technically. Whereas Islamism is an idea, is a full idea, ideology, and it's difficult. Once an idea is created, it's impossible to kill it. Lily Gal says, we are being Trojan horsed just like Iran and Lebanon. Well, that's what happened in the 20th century in Iran and Lebanon. It's a problem, of course. Anyway, so this was the latest updates from the House of Commons, I guess we can say now, because the election is now over, and Reform UK have received their 5th member of Parliament. Of course, we're going to keep you guys posted on what's happening with the cabinet appointments of Keir Starmer. I really need to find some time to take a bit of a nap or rest, because I haven't slept since Wednesday. Thank you so much for all the support. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.